What's going on, guys? Seth the Chevy here. We just watched episode 9 of season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. We will be talking full spoilers, so make sure to watch this episode for sure. And let's do a real quick recap. Some pretty crazy stuff happened here. This is kind of a holy shit episode, in my opinion, which definitely makes up for the last episode. That seemed like it just kind of teeing up for this. We start off with Gojo fighting Jogo, Hanami, and Chozo, I think the other guy's name was. I don't remember. The quiet guy in the corner.
The blood dude.
And we get treated to seeing just how powerful Gojo is while he's kicking everybody's asses and kind of talking shit to him to the point where he completely eviscerates Hanami, who is now dead. Really crazy scene that was very satisfying to watch. So while that's all happening, we get some more of the plan that they need to keep once they get the prison domain ready. Gojo busy for a minute, basically. As that flashback's kind of happening, we see Jogo complaining that they've been trying to keep Gojo busy for like 20 minutes. When's it going to start? And in the background, we have Geto just kind of waiting it out. He needs Gojo to be in the right... he needs to be...
stressed. He basically
stressed,
needs
but he needs him at the edge, he said, basically. Then we get Yuji and his group finding a girl who says that a bunch of people got on the train who got turned into transfigured humans, and then she was left behind because there wasn't room for her. They didn't need her. She then turns into a transfigured human that essentially she dies. They got sent off, and we find out that they were sent down to where Gojo's at with all the people who are the most chill people ever. All this shit's happening, and they're just kind of standing around looking around a lot. No one's really panicking, which is kind of weird.
I think he mentions that they can't see cursed energy, so they don't know.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They did say that in the first when everything started. Because I was like, these guys are just kind of chilling. That's my bad. The train shows up. They're getting ready to get on it, and then the transfigured humans come out, start killing people, and then Mahito shows up, attacks Gojo. Can't hit him. He's stoked about that, and he opens up a thing at the top of the room that drops in a bunch of... That was just people, right?
Yeah, there were Hanami's roots, I think, that were like keeping more humans up above. So. Yeah.
And then, so they drop in. It's chaos. Shit's going crazy. It was funny when Mahito first showed up, asked, where Hanami's at. And Jogo was like, he's dead. Hanami's dead. And he's like, really? So that was an interesting little dialogue. Then, to not say this in any way that's maybe inaccurate, basically, they're trying to kind of push and test Gojo, and they think he's not going to... basically, there's this dialogue about that he has cold logic. He's willing to do certain things, but he's not going to try and like maximize harm to everybody. So they're trying to see just how far he'll go.
Yeah, more simply, but if cursed energy is killing people and he can still complete the mission, he can accept that.
Yeah.
But he can't accept personally killing people.
Yeah. And so he uses his domain. I forgot what it's called.
Infinite?
Yeah. Like and he basically manipulates time in a way that he is able to kill 1,000 of the transfigured humans within 299 seconds, which is a really crazy scene of him just going crazy and murdering all these things. When he is basically done with that and recovering from that crazy feat, I think it's when Geto shows up.
Yeah, they also mention as well, there's a dialogue happening while he's just ripping these things apart.
Explaining the situation.
That he had come to the conclusion that humans without curse energy could survive in it for a fraction of time. So he's like basically trying to get the job done before it affects people. So.
Yeah. So then Yeah, after he's done, he's recovering. This box shows up. Geto says something about prison domain open, and it opens up to this weird eye thing. And then I think at this point, this is where they need to keep him busy for a minute. Geto shows up. He talks to him. Gojo is kind of shocked because he hadn't seen him in a while. There's a little quick blip of their history together. And then he is basically captured by this prison domain. And while he's looking at Geto, he realizes everything about him seems like he's Geto, but he can tell that he's not. And he asks who he is. Geto says, "Oh, it's me, Geto, blah, blah, blah. Don't you recognize me?" And then he presses the situation further, saying he can tell he's not. And it is revealed that if you hopefully watched the movie, that was the movie, right? Or was that the 5 episodes?
The movie.
The movie where that happened.
Yeah, because it had to do in correlation with the guy in the white.
Yeah. When spoiler alert, if you didn't watch any of the prequel stuff, because I know some people who haven't, which is really kind of weird.
Yeah, because now this episode is like
directly
connected to that.
Connected
stuff,
to that,
so.
yeah. Geto was. We were told that Geto died, but then we're trying to figure out from
why
he's here. Yeah. Apparently he did die, and some kind of cursed entity who was able to jump from body to body wanted his curse manipulation and jumped into his body and is now manipulating him. So as far as we know, is at this point, Geto is not Geto. This is something else controlling his body for his power.
Geto version 2.
Yeah. So big surprise for us as people who have not read the manga at all. Although it answers the question on why he was alive in the first place. Mm-hmm. They talk briefly about he's going to be put away for a long time in this prison, and he'll let him out at some point after the New World has been created. Gojo mentions, I forgot his fucking name, Yuta?
I think so, yeah.
The kid from the movie,
yeah.
Being a powerful sorcerer, because I think he was like special grade or whatever.
Due to his bond with the girl.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. We'll be happy to see them return at some point. And it seems like it will, because this is finally doing a lot of connection between that story arc and this. Essentially saying that, he's a powerful dude. He's going to be able to, do something about this. Geto or pseudo Geto says that, he's not as powerful. He's not going to be as effective as Gojo. And now Gojo going away, he can get his plans knocked out. And then, we cut over to a scene with Yuji, and they're walking down the tunnel. He gets a message, look like Mekamaru?
Yes.
Telling him that Gojo has been sealed. And that's the end of the episode. This is probably one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. What'd you think?
It was definitely a fantastic episode. I appreciate that, because the last one I was like, man, for how hyped up this arc was, this episode's kind of meh. No, I needed this. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun watching Gojo stalk people, basically, very
he was
calmly.
Like Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, it was creepy, and he's just like smiling about it too.
Yeah.
So like he was enjoying it. Without going through every little aspect of the fight, I'm just gonna kind of skip ahead to the some of the parts I really liked about it, like him just casually catching Jogo's arm, taking a step over, twisting it, and he's just like 1, 2, and rips it off. I was like, Jesus, it's cold.
Yeah, it's funny how they went in there already knowing, because when they had the conversation before this happened, they were like, you seriously fucking expect us to do this? But they're, when they're fighting him, they start out like, oh, let's kick his ass. There's multiples of us. But then within a couple seconds, especially right after Hanami just gets eviscerated, they're just in survival mode. It's like, we have to survive Gojo, basically.
Well, then, so he jumps on Hanami and rips out its horns, which was gross. satisfying but gross. And then
Especially from first season, because I thought the thing was an interesting curse that they had to fight.
Yeah.
But I was also like, dude, just fucking kill this thing. Like, get rid of it. And that Gojo was just able to be like, oh, here's your weak point. Just like rip the fucker out. And then just popped him.
yeah, well, and then that
ridiculous.
scene, he's got it pressed up against the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like grinning while using his rejection to just smash it slowly more and more against the wall until
Yeah,
it
you can see
literally
his
turns into a puddle.
Body's just
It
disappearing.
was brutal.
Yeah.
A
I think
little, little gross, but again, I welcome it. So
And it was such a good fucking scene, not just because he just destroys Hanami, but he's doing it so effortlessly. It like really shows how scary he is. And while it's happening, it's like chaotic, and you're like, "Where's this going?" Jogo's like, "Hey," like trying to distract him and shit. And he's
I'm
not
gonna
even
cook these people.
yeah, and he's like not even paying attention to him. And then like while Jogo's like still trying to process, like, okay, what am I gonna do? Hanami just goes "Poosh," like against the wall.
Yeah, and
and he's
even
just like, oh shit.
even right before that, he was like, because his taunt didn't work.
Yeah.
Like the flame just slowly goes out in his hand. He's like, what do I do now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Just like no response, and then that happens, and it's just like, oh fuck.
yeah,
Like,
and then all Gojo does turn and go one down.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really fucking cool scene.
Yeah. So dude's cold, and it's pretty awesome. So because he's usually so aloof and like it's fun, but this side of him is a treat like to watch.
Not gonna see it for a while though.
Yeah.
100 to 1,000 years.
It was worth it. And then yeah, all these ideas that basically they had on him, he was just kind of like proving him wrong, with a tinge of truth to it still, like with the like not being able to use the domain because it would fry all these humans' brains. But he knew that if he had to, he just had to do it quick,
Yeah.
and they should be fine. It was a theory more than anything. I don't think he had actually tested that before. So
They did a really good job with giving him his last like badass stand, but also because they've propped him up as this all-powerful dude, even their plan was not going according to their plan. Like, they're like, he's not going to use this, and then he did.
yeah,
Like, he was able to outthink that. The only thing that really got him was basically his past with Geto. That, in the right time, with the right planning, with the stall, he was able to manipulate him enough to get him into this trap. If you're gonna take him out, however, they gave him plenty of time to just show how badass he is. But then, basically, it's not betrayal because it's not actually Geto, but Geto's facade fucked with him just enough.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and then like it's just funny to constantly see that because everyone knows who Gojo is and like how crazy he is, no one ever actually like has a plan to kill him. They're just like, how do we make him not be around for a second? Like, and that's always the plan. So, and then the reveal with Geto, that was not where I was expecting this to go. I'm so happy to be surprised. It doesn't happen often, so that was awesome.
Yeah, as soon as he like revealed he wasn't Geto, I was like, "What?" Like, did not think it was going that direction.
Blindsided.
Yep.
So, very cool. Now I want to know more about it now.
Which is great. Thank you for anybody who's been watching our reviews and not spoiling anything for us, because we get to have these things happen and go, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and then Mekamaru apparently lived. So,
I feel like he had to, because like they're making this big deal about his escape and I got to get to Gojo situation, and then that fight, I'm like, they're just gonna like have this whole like he's trying to get out of here thing and then just murder him. So
yeah, we had no confirmation until now.
Yeah.
Though, so and even still, like how much confirmation do we actually have? We'll see.
maybe transport his body into a machine.
Maybe
That's big speculation. I don't expect that to be real.
maybe they made him a vegetable again. Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't a vegetable before, but
Yeah.
And then,
We'll find out.
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, now that Mr. Invincible is out of the way, how the rest of the cast is going to be able to handle the situation, which will obviously be more fun for us as a viewer because
Yeah.
they're not invincible. So
Well, I mean, this was plenty of fun, but
It was.
we can't do this every episode where Gojo just kicks everybody's ass. And so this is something we've been talking about since we did the first season and reviewed it. Gojo is an awesome character, but you got to get rid of him because like he's too powerful. And the whole universe, the whole world in this show knows that. It's not even like nobody can challenge him. So like it makes sense. You got to trap him. You got to get him the fuck out of the way so you can try to, progress the story in any way outside of, Gojo might show up and stop whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But I also, beyond that, beyond the OP factor, am really excited to finally see people get tested and have to become who they need to be. Like Yuji, we haven't seen Sukuna in a long time, and I really like that dynamic of him and Sukuna. So we'll see more of that likely. And then Yuta showing up again, I think will be really cool too, because we only got a little taste of him as a character.
Also, they've propped up that I've forgotten his name now. The dude with the spiky black hair, though, the dude's son.
Megami?
Yeah. They've propped him up so much too.
This show has been so. The first season is so docile in terms of like potential that like after the movie and then the 5-part prequel, it finally started adding some weight to everything and some backstory things that like this part of the story is finally showing, like, because I thought Megami in the first season like was okay, but yeah, he keeps being a presence in the show, and I'm like, what are you building towards? Especially now that I know that there's stuff that we didn't know about before, like Yuta in the movie. And then, there's just all these layers that the first season doesn't give you, and now that they are, we need to know more about where he's going, because he's apparently important.
Well, and his dad almost killed Gojo.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
Like one of the few people who's ever touched the
there's
guy.
something to him. And there's definitely something to Yuji. The whole story starts with him, and Sukuna's finger, and then Yuta. So like, and there's plenty of other characters too. So yeah, taking Gojo and putting him aside, they didn't kill him off. They're just locking him up and putting him away. Maybe next episode he gets free. I doubt that. Will allow other characters to breathe more, and I'm actually really excited for that because as much as I like Gojo, he's awesome, cool, whatever. I think the other characters need some spotlight.
Gonna have a real short show if it's just Gojo, so because he's just gonna win, right? So.
Well, they could make like 5 seasons of what they're doing now, and Gojo keeps always being the badass. That's gonna get boring eventually, no matter how charming a character is. There's no stakes, and we've been building up since season 1 on this plan of like, how do we get rid of this god? Like, he's just like, we can't progress our plans with him around. And so finally we got a step forward through the door on that. And so it's going to move the story forward more, especially finding out Geto's not Geto. We need to find out more on that. That adds a whole other layer too, that Geto's just actually dead. That's pretty crazy because it was kind of open-ended because it's off screen from the movie. What happened to him.
Yeah, it means Gojo actually killed him, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, so. Which makes sense. The only reason I wouldn't assume he didn't, because in season 1 he was around. So I was like, did he let him live?
Or, no, was it Gojo?
Yeah,
finishing blow.
Yeah.
Because Yuta did most of the damage.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this episode's pretty pivotal in changing things up, I assume. Maybe the rest of it will suck. I doubt that. But... we've already pretty much talked about everything, but like the fight was awesome, of course. The animation was fantastic. I loved the part where he killed Hanami, and not just because he killed Hanami, just the way they did it was fucking dope. And then even Mahito showing up, I thought was interesting. I would have liked to see a little bit more of Mahito versus Gojo, because I would love to see someone beat the shit out of Mahito. Mahito drives me nuts as a character, but we'll see something happen to him. But yeah, the whole fight was awesome, and the reveal with Geto and seeing Gojo actually defeated was something I think we needed to see. There needs to be stakes in that regard, and I'm really excited to see where the show goes without Gojo. because the character is going to have to step it up, especially with all this talk of Yuji already seeming like a level or grade 1 sorcerer. They're getting ready to boost them up anyway. So, yeah, it'll be really cool to see where this goes. I want to know more about that Chizo? I don't remember their name. Character.
The sorcerer.
Because I don't know what the hell is up with them. They just...
The only thing we got was they're not a cursed spirit or whatever. They're a person. So
yeah, which is weird. So yeah, I also want to see Volcano Head Jogo get his ass kicked more because he's such a
punchable fucking character.
Such a nerdy character. That I can't take him serious because every time he shows up, he just gets his ass kicked. But he's tenacious. I'll give him that. He's really down to clown. Yeah, really good episode. Definitely one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. Which is kind of crazy because beyond just the fight scene, which is cool, but like just all things that happen in it, really fucking cool. So, yeah, really good. Any other thoughts?
Nope. I'm still thinking about how Hanami got smushed. That was kind of wild.
It was awesome.
So
loved it. All right, so let us know in the comments what you guys think of this episode. What parts stood out to you? What did you think of Hanami's death? What did you think of Gojo going ballistic? We think about him killing 1,000 things in 299 seconds. And what do you think about him being captured finally in that prison? And what do you think about Geto not being Geto? And if you know more about that, please don't spoil it. We haven't read the manga, so let us take on the surprises, organically. And yeah, tell me everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to this episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and until the next episode where we will review the next episode, we will talk to you guys later.